Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Rock, and I want to be your recovery coach. I'm an individual, a young man. I'm 51 years old, and I have lived the experience, and I have long-term recovery, which means I was a crackhead and dope fiend for over 35 years. Now I have 4 years of sobriety, no slips, no trips, no weekend dips, as they say, right? And I work in a recovery field, right? And I have 1 year as a program manager at a recovery home, and I also have 2 years of harm reduction. And I have sponsees. I do service work. I made a beginning on the steps. I have a sponsor, and I do the things that people told me to do, and I've seen that it works for me. But I've also learned one major important thing, that just being sober is not enough, because we have a long life to live. We have plenty of things we need to accomplish. And I've seen seen individuals that just go to meetings, right? They may make recovery their life. I understand that, recovery got us to where we are, but recovery is just a foundation, right? Recovery is not the whole building, right? We get a foundation, now we got to build something on top of it, right? So in my future videos, along with this one, this is going to be a doozy. My future videos, I want to talk about like diet, exercise, relationships with your family, loved ones, friends, dealing with your bosses, right? All the things that sometimes we don't think about that is part of recovery. But recovery is mainly recovering everything in our life. Because I know once I got into recovery, I didn't know how to manage my life. That was 2 parts of it. Step 1, alcohol became a problem, right? I couldn't, take one drink and stop. Then also the rest of my life was unmanageable. I couldn't show up for work on time. I wasn't a great employee, right? My relationships with my spouses, they went south. They went sour because I wasn't there for them. I wasn't showing up to the football games, the basketball games, the Thanksgiving dinner, Christmases, and stuff like that. And so my family, they suffered, right? I suffered because I didn't, pay attention to my self-care, right? I didn't take care of myself with my diet, exercise, things of that sort, right? We have to learn, or I learned how to balance all those things out, which means I live a fulfilled life. And I've learned how to give more to the world instead of taking away from it. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and also share this video with somebody that you care about that's in recovery, because I'm coming up with some great stuff, right? I got it all mapped out, so we're gonna hit it hard, right? Because I'm here to help you guys live a fulfilling life along with recovery. I know you're sober, I know you're clean. That's awesome. Congratulations on any clean time that you got, but we got a long life to live. We got a prosperous life to live. It's time, to make that bread, right? It's time to save money, right? It's time to, get that car that you always wanted. It's time to have a great relationship with your spouse, right? It's time to get that job that you want, right? All those things that you always dreamed of when you was out there, but now you feel stuck. Sometimes we feel stuck because we think we just got to focus on staying. But we have to remember that God restored us from a hopeless state of mind and body, which means he took the obsession out of us, right? So now it's work for us to do to create a better life for ourselves and for people that's around us. So we're gonna get started. This video, I'm gonna talk about why recovery alone isn't enough, right? And we're gonna take a passage out of the big book. Because sometimes we feel like empty, restless, irritable, and discontented. I know I did. Like in the first 10 months to a year of my sobriety, I remember telling my sponsor that I didn't have a lot of things to do, right? Because getting high and drinking took up, a lot of my time. Even when I was drinking, I was thinking about getting another drink. When I was smoking crack, I was thinking about how I'm gonna get money to buy more crack. So that's a lot of time out of my day. So that's all I thought about. So when I stopped, I had these big gaps in my life. All I did was go to work, go to meetings, and now that was it, right? So I had to fill that up with something, right? Outside of just meetings, right? And fellowshipping with people that's in recovery. So for me, what I did was I got a hobby, right? I started learning things about how to make money online, video editing, social media, and stuff like that. Because my goal was to wake up one day and in my phone, I made $1,000 while I was asleep, right? That was like the dream for me, right? It didn't pan out that way, but it's something that kept me busy for like 2 years because I went hard in the paint. There's something about people like ourselves, right? We have a superpower. Like when we set our mind on something, we just keep going. We keep going until we figure it out. But for me, it just didn't work out that time because I was focusing more on the money, right? I wasn't thinking about how I can help other people. So once I got a job, I'm gonna talk about this too as well. God opened up a door for me where I didn't have to worry about money. The next job I got, which God opened up a door for me, it doubled my salary. So The job that I am doing now, what I'm talking about, I'm a program manager at a recovery home where I get a chance to teach and inspire individuals that's early on in recovery, like 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, to do better in their life, and just give give them opportunity to see tangible evidence, because they can see me. They know my story, right? And I can suggest things to them to help them along their journey being recovery, which is so awesome. Right? But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about why recovery alone isn't enough. We're gonna get an insert out of the big book. It's on page 85. We are not cured of alcoholism. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. That's on page 85, right? It's just like, I look at it like this, right? When I was out there using drugs, got to get money for drugs, for the bottle. I got to get money for the bottle, right? You know what I mean? I couldn't just smoke some crack on Monday and I'd be high all week. That ain't how it fucking went, right? I had to get up every day, put that grind in. And most of the time I woke up with no money in my pocket, and I got it done, and I figured it out, because I'm a great figure outer, right? To get some money so I can smoke crack each and every day, right? To smoke weed every day, to drink every day, to do some meth every day, right? I figured it out every fucking day. I don't care if I was stealing bikes, I was boosting out of Walmart, I was, stealing out my mama purse when I was younger. I did all these things, right, to get one more. So that means I have to have a daily reprieve in my recovery too as well. I just got to flip it, right? If I get up each and every day to do something that was going to destroy myself, I got to get up each and every day to do something to stay in recovery, to keep my sobriety. That makes sense? I got to get up every day, right? So we are not cured of alcoholism, addiction, right? We really have a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition, right? So I got to get up every day, right? I have to do some prayer and meditation, constant contact with my higher power, which I call God, right? Whatever you think your higher power is, or whatever you call your higher power, that's on you. As long as you know it's not you that's keeping you sober. That's what I believe, right? I'm going to go back on 85. I'm going to read out the book real quick, and then I'm going to move forward, because I don't want to keep you guys here too long. I know you got shit to do. It is easy to let up on our spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels, which means, like I said before, I believe just because I went to a meeting on Monday, right, I'm still going to have some emotional sobriety or stay sober on Thursday. That ain't how this goes. We got to put in work each and every day. I cannot rest on my laurels on something that I did in the past, because it's going to catch up with me, right? I'm going to get dope sick. I'm going to get recovery sick. You get what I'm saying? You see what I did there? And it says, we are headed for trouble if we do, for alcohol is a subtle foe. We are not cured of alcoholism. We are not cured of it. We only have a daily reprieve. So I got to put something into my recovery each and every day. I don't care if it's going to a meeting. I don't care if it's doing service work. I don't care if it's reaching out and helping somebody in recovery. I don't care if it may be helping somebody outside of recovery, helping a stranger, helping a family member, getting outside of myself. That's what recovery is all about for me. I get a chance to, be a light and show God's power in the way I move, the way I act today, the way I live today, right? I got to continue to do that, right? And this keeps me humble. It keeps my ego out of it, right? Because if I'm steady thinking about my problems, guess what? It's going to be pour me until I pour a drink. Been there, done that. I ain't going back, because I always got to remember that relapse is not a fucking option. So I got to continue to do what I got to do so I can stay on this side of life, right? Because it's great over here. Things still happen, but hey, sometimes, some days, it's not peaches and cream, but it's still butter pecan, baby. We're going to move on, right? Because I want to keep you guys here long. We think about recovery, right? Right. Sobriety is the foundation. What I just said before. Sobriety is the foundation, not the whole house. Let me think about this. I'm in Chicago, right? And we got the Sears Tower, right? They had to build a foundation. They had to put the plumbing in, the electricity, the concrete, the foundation to make sure the building stands up. Don't nobody praise or look at the foundation when they come to Chicago as a tourist to look at the Sears Tower. They looking at the building. The building is the spectacle, right? It's the most grandest thing in Chicago is the Sears Tower. It's the building. It's not the foundation, right? The foundation is what keeps the building up. Y'all get my drift here? So we had to create the foundation with our recovery principles and living life sober, right? Doing the right things and doing step one correctly and not picking up a drink or drug, right? And working with the sponsor. For me, that's what I did. I had to work with a sponsor, do service work, work with sponsees and all that type of stuff, right? That's our foundation, right? But then outside of that foundation, now we got to build a building, practicing those principles in all our affairs, along with being a great employee, right? Going above and beyond at work. It might sound crazy because people say, I'm just gonna do enough until I won't get fired because they just paid me enough to keep me here. That's garbage. That's brainwashing, right? I have to work harder than the next person or harder than I believe that I can so I can raise my level of tolerance and also put my mindset on a level that's higher, right? Because once I think I can't do something, then I surpass that, then I feel I can do more, right? We have a superpower, right? Think about it. If you was one of those people that woke up broke and you figured it out before the sun went down, put it in the comments, you're a superhero. They say I'm Deadpool. What superhero are you? We figured it out. So we have great resilience, right? We're stronger, strong-minded, more strong-minded than the average person, right? And we work harder than most people. That's why people I know, when they hire, quote-unquote, recovering alcoholics and addicts, AKA ex-crackheads, ex-dope fiends, they say they are the best workers they ever had, right? And I'm thankful that I work in a field where all of us are recovering alcoholics and addicts. It's a great thing. We work well together, right? Working on relationships, right? That's the building. Working on being a great employee. That's the building, right? Working on your self-care. That is the building, right? Working on your financial status. That's the building, right? Working on being a great husband, wife, right? Uncle, brother, nephew, niece. That's the building, right? Working on your diet. I probably said that already, but you get my drift, right? It's a lot of things go inside of a building. We're building a building here. We got the foundation. Now we got some traction, right? We've been sober 1 year to 4 years, right? But we're still kind of lost, right? I want you guys to understand, for me, once I got outside of myself and start focusing on those small things that I thought was small, it becomes big, right? Now people love to call me. Sometimes I got to turn my phone off, but they love to call me because they ask me for advice. I have a relative that called me for marital advice or relationship advice. And at that time, I didn't even have a girlfriend, but they took my opinion very seriously because they felt that I was on the right track. I had a head on my shoulders, right? People, you're going to start seeing miraculous things happen in your life when people see from the outside what type of person that you're becoming. And you might not even notice it, right? We're going to move on. I want to keep you guys here too long. We're going to talk about the next thing is spiritual growth, right? Prayer and meditation. I keep on saying it over and over again. Prayer and meditation in the morning before I got to go out and deal with the world is very essential to me. I have to sit back, I have to pray, and I got to meditate on what I prayed on, right? Then I also got to do service work. For me, this is doing service work. Putting out free videos to help people that's in recovery, right? That's service work. When I go to my meetings, I speak, that's service work. Dealing with my sponsees, that's service work. We doing God's work here, people. So I cannot lose focus on what I'm actually doing, because I know why God saved me. I know why I was chosen. I know why he saved me from that abandoned building, ODing off of fentanyl. I know why he saved me. Because the girl that I was with, she was gone when I woke up. It was a guy I never seen before in my life, popped up and kicked me and said, "Hey bro, get up. You okay? Get your phone." I got my phone. I got a scratch on my nose right here that you still can see, and a busted lip, a knot in my lip from when I passed out. And that was one of those basements where nobody never goes, right? So I know why God saved me. Find out or understand why God saved you and live in your purpose, right? Now we got to build life skills, finances, relationships, career. We talked about this. I'm talked about this over and over again, but I'm gonna continue to try to inform you guys on what I did and what I'm doing, right, to make my life the best life possible, because I understand and know that recovery is just the beginning, right? It's not the end. Once we get that foundation in our lives, we got to start building that building. We got to start building that serious tower of our lives, right? Because we can become the pillar of our families, of our communities, right? We gonna start being the lenders, not the borrowers. right? All my life I was borrowing money. Give me this, give me that. Can I get this? Now it's going to be a point where I'm giving. People call and I give, right? People ain't got to call and I'm giving. That's our purpose in life. Well, I'm going to say for me, that's my purpose in life, right? Sobriety gives us freedom, but growth gives us purpose. The more I grow, right? And the more I grew in the last 4 years, it's amazing. I'm going to leave you guys with this, right? This is just from my own personal experience, right? When I got in recovery 4 years ago, September 14th, 2021, I went into treatment with a shirt on my back, some funky shoes, a belt with like 5 extra notches in it. I was 170 pounds, right? Within a year later, I was 80 pounds overweight. I was up to 245, right? Had a closet full of clothes, right? Working a minimum wage job. At the Salvation, I was in a recovery home for 3 years, right? You know what I mean? And the job that I had a minimum wage job. I didn't ask for that job. Somebody recommended me to get that job. I worked in a bakery, right? And then the next job I got, I was working in harm reduction. I didn't ask for that job. I didn't apply for it. Somebody recommended that Rock would be great for this job right here. So I went in for one interview and I got the job. The job was a program manager, which I'm working now. I didn't ask for the job. Somebody asked me, say, Rock, I believe you'd be great as a program manager. I have never been a program manager before in my life. Now they're saying I'm one of the best program managers they ever had. That's because God prepared me along the way through my lived experience, through all my crack smoking, weed smoking, being homeless for 9 years, gave me the patience and tolerance through my own recovery to be able to understand and reach out and help other individuals and have patience, tolerance, and understanding. And knowing what a person is going through and not judging them, right? Because there ain't no story a person can tell me that I never heard before. And this is a great thing about how God can take what was bad into something good. He just flipped it on them. That's what we got to do in our recovery, guys, because we got to remember that relapse is not a fucking option. We got to keep on moving. We got to keep on going because it's not for us. It's about for other people. There's people that are counting on us. There's people that we haven't even met that is counting on us to stay sober. Because one day somebody going to ask you, hey, bro, how did you do it? Hey, sis, I heard about your story. You used to be doing this. How did you get to where you at? Now you got a chance to teach, train them, and show them how you became who you are, right? Because we as humans, we need tangible evidence that recovery is possible. Because I didn't believe it was possible for me until I seen somebody that had a story worse than mine. I thought my story was the worst. Now when I tell my story, I have people say, hey, Rock, can I get your number? It's not being big-headed or anything like that. It's a beautiful thing because now I get a chance to help others because somebody helped me. People gave me information and it was free, right? And it helped me along the way. Always go out and have a great day on purpose. I'm gonna let y'all guys go, but I wanna let you know I love you guys and don't forget relapse is not a fucking option. Peace.